Hello everybody, Salam alaikum, Saltley School, and welcome to our very, very special school. I'm absolutely privileged to be welcoming you today, and it's right that I should welcome certain people at this point. First of all, I just want to point out Cyril Mapston, who came here in 1929, 1 year after the school was open. So welcome to you, Cyril. And Mr. and Mrs. Elwood, who have escorted Rosalind. I understand that you're actually an ex-pupil of the school as well. So thank you for coming today. Obviously your memories of Cyril's time at the school are in your souvenir brochure, so you can reflect on those. I'd like to welcome Councillor Iqlaq and Councillor Khan, who have joined us as well. So if you can just...
Councillor Shah.
Councillor Shah, sorry. If you can just give us a little wave as well, please. So thank you for you. In that time, I'm head teacher number 9, so I'd like to introduce you to Anne Cole, who is head teacher number 8, who was here from 1995 to 2012. So Anne Cole. And we're going to come down a few tiers to head teacher number 6, Alan Woodward, who's with us, and he was a head teacher here in 1982 to 1990. So welcome back. Once again, contributions from both head teachers in the souvenir brochure. My next person to welcome is Sally Taylor. Sally, if you can give us a little wave. She's the Director of Education. And then Emma Lehman, who is from BCC and was very instrumental in the Building School sort of future programme. And Lindsay Jackson, who she works in. And Lindsay Jackson as well, and Rich Stubbs, who are all part of the BSF programme. So welcome to you. Thank you very much. And somebody very important as well, Dan, where are you? Dan is still working with the school. He was responsible for the quality assurance and, more importantly, for snagging issues, which he is still working with the school to resolve. So welcome to you, Dan. And we now move on to ex-pupils. Hugh Winwood. Where's Hugh? Welcome, Hugh. Jill Kelly. Oh, Jill should have been at the front with us. Welcome, Jill. David Adams. Welcome, David. Margaret Middleton. Welcome, Margaret. And I'm hoping that you've managed to find yourselves in some of our photographs as well. So welcome to you, and I'm really pleased that you managed to join us today. And now to ex-staff who have joined us today as well. Wyn Morris, who was here for 40 years.
She's not here yet.
She's not here yet, okay? Okay. Wait for her arrival. And Ian Olashaw. Welcome, Ian. Again, ex-member of staff, and Len Paul.
I'm sure Len's here, aren't he?
And Len's not joined us yet either, so welcome to you. And now to the members of the governing body. I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Iqlaq, Mohammed Iqlaq, who's the chair of governors. Mary Whitson, who is represents the staff. Shahid Mir, who is a parent governor. Alan Wilkin, who's on the governing body and is also an ex-pupil as well, and Darryl Johnson, who is another staff representative. And then to all of you, parents, pupils and staff. You join us at a time where, building on the work that Anne did with the school, we have reached our highest ever attainment target, so we have 60% of our students getting A stars to C, which we're extremely proud of. And you join us at a time where we've been through a very rigorous Ofsted inspection and come out with good and outstanding features. And that's all down to the dedication of the parents, the students, and the hard work that the staff put in with students at the school. So my thank you to all of you for all your hard work and the partnerships that we have with our parents. And thank you, students, as well. So, welcome to our open day, 85-year commemoration. We opened, believe it or not, in 1928, October the 15th. And the opening ceremony was done by Lord Mayor Alderman James. And at that time, the school opened to 137 children. Today, that number is 1,000. And over the next 2 years, we will have another 100 students joining us. So it's a far cry from the very start of the school. I'm going to stop there for a minute, take a breather, and we're going to take you back into time a little bit, okay? And this is the first showing of a cine reel that we came across in the process of actually throwing things away from the old to the new school. So back in time to 1930, and what you will see in this video is, I'll just wait for, please, if you want to move. What you will see in this video is some clips from 1930, and then you will see clips from 1935 camp to Lowestoft. As I said, I'll just hand over and let you have a look at this now. Now. So what you will have seen there is part of that north quad of the school at the beginning of the video, and of course the whole of the school had gone out on camp in 1935. Obviously a lot has changed in that time. The buildings changed a lot, and we were subject to a £13.5 million BSF programme over the past 2 years. We're grateful for that programme because basically students and staff deserve an environment that they can flourish in, and it's brought and I'm grateful that that programme has had a huge impact on the school and the staff and the students. So part of it was a brand new sports hall, and in addition 17 classrooms to the school, and then obviously the redecoration of the other part of the school. So as I said, lots changed, and we'll have an opportunity you will have an opportunity to have a walk around the school and have a look at those changes as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sit down now because we now have Liam Byrne who's going to address you, so I invite him to come to the front. Thank you, Liam, for coming from the Labour Party conference, and I thank you for
Great. Thank you very much. Anyone remember those exercises? I do, Neil. A bit familiar. Does that sound okay? Otherwise I'm going to shout at you. I'm going to shout at you. Yeah. Can you hear me at the back? Fine. Okay. It's a real pleasure to be here today to help with what is a really special day. And the only place for me to start is with a word of profound congratulations to everyone who has been involved in making this a success. And it seems like a long time ago that we sat in your office and we went over those blueprints, and you told me about this crazy plan to sort of completely rebuild the school fabric but keep the original beauty and majesty of the building around us. And now to see it in all its glory, it's so special. So congratulations to you, to the team from the city, to Martin Alcock as well, and those who have made this stunning redevelopment possible, and to you, Mr. Baines, for presiding over this fantastic day today. Congratulations to all of you. It's a real honour. For me to be here today because this school has a very special place in my heart. This was the first school that I visited in this constituency. I wasn't yet a Member of Parliament, I wasn't yet an elected representative, I was merely a candidate. And it was here that I had the honour of bringing the Secretary of State for Education, Charles Clarke, to look around what was here, but most importantly to talk to the children here and listen to some of their hopes for the future. And it was here when we talked to some of the children in a science lab upstairs, a science lab that had not been touched since the 1950s, that I remember hearing about the hopes and the dreams and the aspirations and the visions of the future that some of the children here at this school had back then. The words that I heard then are words that stay with me still, and they are the words that have inspired me over the last 9 years to do everything possible to bring new investment into our schools here in our community, but above all to work so hard with our young people to make sure they recognise the world of possibility that is taking shape around us. And this is my second point. The reason this school is so important, the reason that we work so hard to get half of the money for building schools for the future here into this constituency, is that what we see as servants of this community is the extraordinary potential of our young people in the world now taking shape around us. A few miles from here, the extraordinary development of Eastside is almost finished. A few miles the other way, the airport's getting busier, and soon, I hope, we'll have a high-speed connection that will cut our journey time down to London to 65 minutes. There is extraordinary potential for growth in our part of the city, and what we are determined to do is to make sure that our community is not an oasis of inequality in the middle of that new opportunity. And that's why we need the investment in education. That's why we need investment in the classrooms here. That's why we need investment in developing and enriching the curriculum for our young people here. Not long after I was elected, inspired by the words that I heard from a 14-year-old girl in a science lab upstairs, I began bringing together our young people in all of the schools across this constituency. And the biggest question for me was to ask, what are your priorities for investment over the years to come? You know, we asked people, was it arts, media and drama and cricket pitches, or more football coaches and that kind of stuff? And you know what people said? They said it was learning a new skill. For example, like starting a business. That choice won in every single school in our constituency. And what it said to me is that despite all of the challenges that we confront here in our community, for our young people, the sky's the limit. There is no limit to the ambitions and aspirations of our young people. And that's why we have to work so hard to get behind them. The job of this school is not simply to develop the young people of our community for a life of tests. It's to help prepare them for the tests of life. The fantastic achievements that Saltley has scored, getting such a great Ofsted report, getting such a great outcome in the exams this year, that is fantastic. But what is most important about the new development that we've got here at Saltley is it gives the chance and the space and the atmosphere to actually help train our young people for those tests of life which we know are to come. Where we think not just about how we teach them of the world around them, but how we develop what's inside them. Where we train not only their minds, but their outlook on life and their self-esteem inside. That's what's so important about what's happened here at Saltley. On Monday, I had the tremendous privilege to stand on a stage several hundred miles from here with Sophie Christiansen, the most decorated para-Olympian in our country's history. When you look at the challenge that Sophie has conquered, the challenge of cerebral palsy, the challenge of getting an education, the challenge of becoming a Paralympian, the challenge of going to that incredible Paralympic Games last year and triumphing in such an unprecedented way, you see how the most important lesson that we can teach our young people is simply this: never give up. As some of you know, my mum was a science teacher. She taught in a school very similar to this. That basic lesson, that basic ethos of grit, no matter what challenges life throws at you, was one of the most important lessons I learned growing up. And that's why I say that developments like this here in Saltley are so important, because of the space and atmosphere it gives us to help train our children's character. We know here as parents and as governors and as former pupils, and as the teachers and indeed as the students, that it takes far more than a school and a teacher to raise our children in the right way, to teach them to think big, to teach them to pick themselves up when things go wrong. But Mr. Baines, on behalf of all of us in our community, we salute the work that you do and the work that your staff here do, because you are looking after the people who to us are the most important people in the world. So good luck with the new year that is about to really get into its stride. You know that anything that we can ever do for you here at Saltley, we will do. We think that the job that you are doing is extraordinary, and I suppose the final message really is this: the young people that are in your care, we see as the future of our community. We see them as the key to unlocking the opportunity which we know is there for the taking. Good luck with that. It's the most important job in the world. Sometimes it's hard, but you know, when those things get tough, we're here right behind you. Thanks very much and congratulations.
I can see now why we have special guests, expert public speakers, so thank you, Leo. I really appreciate that. Just before we move through to the official ceremony, I have to say thank you to a few more people. Those people are Tracy Hall, Zuba Ahmed, and my colleague Lee Farmer for the exceptional work and that they've put in to prepare today's events. And my utmost thanks has to go to Martin, Martin Alcott. If I can just, Martin, if you can just wave to. Not only has Martin been responsible for the whole of the BSF programme and seen that through, he is by far the single person who has put a lot of time and effort and made it possible for all of us to get here today. And I have to say nothing but my greatest thanks to you for doing that. So thank you again. I'd just like to say. Ladies and gentlemen, guests, can I please ask you to join us outside? We're going to go to the quad, which is very important because that's the quad that you saw in the film as well. And if you can join us for the official ceremony. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You got it steady.
Right, this is always a very dangerous moment. Giving a member of parliament a sharp object is not normally a wise thing to do, so you're very trusting. It's a great honour and it's a great privilege to celebrate this day with you. The pupils here are some of the most extraordinary people in our community, and so too are the staff and the leadership of this school. So good luck in this fabulous new facility. We are now going to do the traditional countdown to the ribbon cutting. So if you wouldn't mind, please join me from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Someone now better remove the sharp object.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. There's a buffet and drinks in the main hall. Please go through and help yourself. And some pupils will be there. Anyone wants to have a tour of the school, you're welcome. And people take you around or have a wander around yourself. It's completely up to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And so what he does on a Friday is he buys himself a £5 lunch. So you come home and you say, John, what did you have for lunch today? And he says, right, well I had 2 pizzas and I had a hot chocolate and a fizzy drink and 2 donuts. And we've had to say to him, okay, look, if you run out of your £20 budget by the end of the month, you're making packed lunches, young man.
So when it was a grammar school,